What's up, guys? We are officially live. I do apologize for running a few minutes late. We had a 3-year-old throwing a bit of a temper tantrum. So we got him all situated. He's happy. I'm going to pull up my chat. I can see you guys. Drop a comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. And we've got the chat. All right. We're good. Hopefully you guys can we get a quick audio and video check? Are we good? Are we clear-ish? As you can see by the title of the video and a different background, we are in a new office now. It has been a hectic week. We are officially moved in. I'll show you guys a quick panoramic view in a minute, but it is absolute chaos around here. We haven't organized or deep cleaned or anything yet. We just got some of the stuff up in the loft. So our internet, our Wi-Fi, we're in the same building. Let me back up. We're in the same building, but we're just a few units down. But our main router for the whole building was next door to our old unit. So we had really good internet. Over here, the Wi-Fi is crap. So I'm using no Wi-Fi right now. It's just through my cell phone internet. Thanks, T-Mobile. Appreciate it. All right, here we go. So I will give you guys a breakdown of what's been going on the last few weeks. We haven't posted any content on YouTube. I have been MIA from social media for like a week and a half. It has been absolute chaos. But luckily tonight is the last long night of working. I usually do not work these like 12 to 14 hour days, but it's been nonstop for a couple weeks now. Tonight's the last night. Tomorrow is like brand new start. Come in here, new schedule for myself. I'm getting back on my 5:30 a.m. wake up. I'm getting back on a whole new regimen with the electronics account that we started for eBay. All kinds of fun stuff happening. So let me pull some questions up here. All right. No offense, but you look tired. Thing, Peggy. I take zero offense because I'm exhausted right now. You guys can see. You guys can always tell if I'm super tired, if I'm not sleeping well, or if I'm just working way too much. You guys can always see it in my eyes. I've just got one of those like weird eye sockets that's deep, so when I get tired, you can see it. I am exhausted, and that's why I wanted to go live tonight. Not so much to be like, hey, we got a new office or anything like that. I'm always trying to strive to be sorry, I'm closing down some windows real quick on my... I want to give you guys 100% of my attention, and I've got a bunch of windows open on my computer I need to shut down real quick. Because I don't like multitasking, like split attention stuff. I like to give you guys 100%. So hold on real quick. All right. Gretchen's going to send me some eye cream. I love it. All right, here we go. So I always want to strive to be authentic on this channel with my content, with our Instagram, with our Facebook groups. I always want to be authentic with you guys. And that authenticity for me means I'm trying to think of the right wording. It comes down to talking about the behind the scenes more than showing the highlights and the wins of the business. I think too many times between YouTube and Instagram and even Facebook groups, too many times all you see is the highlight reels. All you see is like, here's what I sold this week. Here's what I did. Here's my success. Here's my like big win of the week. We always see the highlights, and a lot of people don't even like to talk about, because no one likes to talk about it, right? It's not fun to say, hey, I failed this week. Or, hey, I failed in this business. Or, hey, I failed my clients this week. It's not fun to talk about that stuff, but that's the kind of stuff I like to talk about sometimes because it puts it into perspective. Right? This business, or any business for that matter, not just this whole like Amazon, eBay world, it's tough. It's a lot of long nights sometimes. It's a lot of failures if you're going to garage sales and thrift stores, if you're doing wholesale and private label, right? You got to go through a lot of duds to find the good products. And that's just the reality of it. So I want to come on here, share kind of some life updates, some business updates, what we're doing with the new office space, kind of just give you guys an insight into behind the scenes with our life, because that's what this channel is about. I always want to document on this channel more than I'm like creating content. I'm going to continue to do tutorial videos and teach you guys stuff that I know. Again, I can only teach what I know. I don't do private label yet, so I don't know the private label game. I know the basics like most people do, but I don't know the in-depth knowledge stuff. So I'm never gonna try to BS my way through tutorial videos of stuff I don't do, right? I'm always gonna teach you guys what I know. That's a promise I can always give to you guys. Anytime you come here, I can just promise you one thing: you're gonna get my authentic self. That's it. Some people don't like the fact that I don't have a huge knowledge base of specific tactics when it comes to private label or wholesale. That's just, I don't have the knowledge base of that yet. I will gain it as I start to do it more. But what I do have is my authentic self. And that's all I can present here. So if you guys want the authentic side of business, if you guys want to see an insight into our lives, our business, how we run things, the way that we do things, guys, it's not the best way or the right way or the wrong way. It's just our way of doing things. It's what's worked for us. And that's what I try to preach is there's not one way to do this business at all. There's not one way to do this business. Like, let that sink in for some of you. A lot of people come onto YouTube, they watch videos, they go on Instagram. They're constantly looking at people that are trying to shove down other people's throats like this is the way to build the business. And it's like, yeah, it's a way. It's not the only way. So you guys, test and retest and review. That's how you learn to grow your own business. So yeah, listen to podcasts, watch videos, read Facebook posts, all that kind of stuff. That's all great. I'm all about it. But you've got to take the knowledge and like mold it into your own. And that's what we've done throughout the last like 3 years, almost 3 years we've been doing this stuff. So let me dive in. I don't want to sit here and like, just talk about my own self and what's going on with me. I'm more about you guys here. Quick shout out to my boy Andre for the super chat for a cup of coffee for the Q&A tonight. Thank you. I do have a little Patron and some Squirt. If you guys are not familiar, this was straight up like 90s flashback. I've not drank this stuff in I don't even know how many years. It's been a long week. I don't care. We're gonna have some fun. So here we go. What happened with the old office is question number one. And this is just kind of open Q&A platform for you guys. Whatever you guys want to know. My brain is open for you guys. Whatever's up there, you guys can have. So with the office, anyone who has watched our videos, you can kind of eyeball how our old office was set up. It was a 1,000 square foot bay, so it was long and narrow, and it was split into basically like 3 rooms because there were 2 walls up. So we had the very back. I don't have a whiteboard with me. It's packed up. If I had a whiteboard, I'd draw it out for you. But we had a back room, which is where all of our eBay storage was, which is all this stuff, these bins right here. That was all eBay storage. We had our main office in the middle, which is where the table was. That's where we did our work. All my Funko shelves and all that fun stuff was up there. The front of the space where the bay door opened, that you guys probably have seen on Instagram pretty much every day, that was our main prepping and shipping. So that was our old setup. It was great, but one, we started to max out on room once I started the electronics account, because electronics, and I'll do a little panorama for you. You guys can see I'll show you my epic death pile right now. It's not even technically a death pile. It's just we moved and I consolidated all of my mini piles into one big one, so you guys can see what I got going on there. But once I started the electronics account, things definitely started to pile up because I'm dealing with vintage stereos, boom boxes, that kind of stuff. So they take up room. Receivers are big and heavy, so they started to take up more room. So one, we started to get tight on space. 2, I've always wanted an open floor plan. Okay, so instead of having the big bay that we did have, which was basically 3 rooms under one bay, I mean, it was great, especially with having the separation of like the back room was eBay, front room was prepping and shipping, middle room was office. That was great for the time being. We were in there for about 7 to 8 months, probably closer to 8 months, 8 to 9 months. I've always wanted an open floor plan. I just love the looks of open floor plans. So we had a unit in our building that opened up. So we called up our landlord, said, hey, we heard that one of the tenants is leaving. I've never seen the inside of her space. I would love to go check it out, see what she's got as far as the layout in there. We walked in this room right here that we're in right now, and I like sold, done. And I'll show you guys real quick. So we had this, it's still 1,000 square feet on this bottom floor right here. It is one big open square size room. It's not a big rectangle like a bay. We still have our bay door, but this was the killer part, is that loft up there is 500 square feet. So it goes up and back a decent amount up there. So all of our eBay stuff for the most part is gonna be up there. The other killer part is right here inside of this room, is about 400 square feet. It's got a big old closet and all that fun stuff in there. That is going to be a test for a new business that we're gonna do. We're gonna consider doing retail pop-up events. So we're gonna test that out inside of that room. That was included with our lease for free for a few months to run those tests to see if we can generate some type of income out of there as far as a retail space goes. It's diversifying the income. So I'm always a huge fan of diversifying income. That's where the branding Side Hustle Pros even came from, was because I'm a big fan of multiple side hustles that make up your main income, rather than putting your eggs in one basket. So that's kind of like the general layout of the building. Let me just show you guys kind of what we got going on here. All right, I can actually flip this around. All right, you know what? I'm actually gonna unplug my phone. You guys get a sneak peek before the vlog comes out. I vlogged the entire move. All right, there we go. So here's a new layout. Got our bay door. Show you guys here. So if we come in through the bay door and look over, that's all wholesale product, all that fun stuff. But you guys can see this entire layout. There's a lot of crap in here right now. So I told you guys it's not clean. I'm gonna do an official tour and walkthrough video once we're all set up, because right now is absolute chaos. But this is awesome because this is all just one big eBay corner. So this is like our hard goods eBay drop off. None of this is set up how it's going to be once we're cleaned up. I'm going to have my own photography backdrop, all that fun stuff. Trista has a clothing drop off area. It's going to grow. This is my epic electronics pile that I'm picking through right now. And then from here, it is going to be Trista's actual backdrop, her mannequins, the lights, all that stuff. Just picked up these toner cartridges a couple weeks ago. So this is like my own drop off area. My stormtroopers, if you're on Instagram, you've seen these guys many times. They had to come with me. We got our retail space back there. This is all prepping and shipping on the back wall. And then all the way back there is all eBay storage. So that's the layout of the new place. All right, so that is the update with the office. Why we decided to move out of our old space. It was great, but this one is just better. It's got way more layout for what we need as far as the open floor plan goes. So aside from that, open Q&A sesh is in progress. Drop those questions below and let's get those answered. Yeah, to clarify, this is the same building. It's a big complex with multiple different units. One unit opened up, it was way better space than what we had. It's the same price, and so we decided to move over, which was awesome because we had a pallet jack with a big pallet, and we just stacked stuff on there and just wheeled it around the corner where we're at right now, which was a huge time saver. It took us about 3 days. But we're officially cleaned out of the old place into the new place. It'll take probably another 2 to 3 days. We're gonna do some painting, and then I gotta get everything organized. So probably another two or 3 days coming. Wifey is actually at home with Little Man right now. We did a tag team tonight. We didn't have a babysitter, which usually we do on Tuesday nights for this. But we didn't have a babysitter, so she ended up tag teaming. So she went live inside of our VIP group and did live listings on eBay with those guys. They have a little powwow session that they do every week. And then we just tag team. I had Little Man before this, and so she took him home. So that's that. How is the new eBay account doing for the 10K challenge? It is going awesome for how little effort I have put into it. Again, with everything I just talked about, it's been, I can't put it into words. It's been a crazy 3 weeks. We shipped out 1,000 pair of shoes, and then that took 4.5 days. We took 1 day off. We moved our entire office, and there's just been a lot of other stuff going on with that too that's been taking up time. So it's been a lot of long days, hence the sleepy eyes. I cannot wait to get a full night of sleep tonight. It's gonna be amazing. I'm pulling up my eBay account right now for that. So, ooh, sweet. We are now at 8 positive feedback, which I'm pumped about. So we have done this account. This Wednesday will be exactly 30 days old, and I'll do an official YouTube update video just for that account. Quick recap, we have done $2,500 in sales. I haven't updated my spreadsheet, but the last time I updated, we were at $1,400 profit, and that's after fees, my cost, and my shipping. And I'm specifically documenting and tracking everything goes into that account publicly so you guys can see all the behind the scenes. And here's the brutal truth of it too, is you guys have seen that electronics pile now. I have not been listing consistently. I have not been making consistent sales. The sales are coming in waves because when I do sit down and I list for 2 days, two or 3 days in a row, I get sales that come through. We had one day where we had 8 sales from the morning till noon. 8 sales just flew in, which was awesome. Great day. But I have had one sale yesterday and I just sold something else today. Yes, I want to confirm that. So we have had 2 sales in the last, when was the last sale before that? So August 7th, August 6th, 5th, 3rd, 2nd. So August 2nd was the big day where we had a lot going out, and I've had like 1 sale a day ever since then. But I haven't been listing, so I can't really call myself like a slow account right now, blaming anything else but the fact I haven't been listing, and that's totally fine. So that account's going great. I'm going to put a lot more effort into it. I'm going to start tracking my hours, which I think is going to help people get a more realistic view, because it's easy to look at that account and be like, oh my gosh, Chaz is making, $1,400 in the last 3 weeks profit, but you haven't seen the hours I put in, some of the drive time I put in, the listing time at night. I'm gonna document and talk more about the actual hours that go into it for you. All right, let me grab some questions. All right, sorry guys, YouTube chat is not very scrolling friendly, so I have to scroll all the way back up. Oh, nice, Jake. Said just completed my first sale reselling from Ross and doubled my profit based on what I learned from the Ross resale video. Awesome information. Can't wait to sell some more. That's awesome, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Consistency is king, no matter if it's sourcing, anything in business, in life, really, too. It's consistency. That's, even if you're doing super, super small things every day, consistency is how you exponentially grow over time. It's the people who try to do great big things every now and then, or when they feel like it, those are the ones that don't see the best results. The ones that see the best results are the ones that are just staying consistent with small daily things every day. Martin says, I think I'm going to go for Payability, but I'm going to pass on the MI vendor's license. Nice. Yeah, if you guys ever need Payability link, that's something I haven't talked about publicly a lot. I'm going to be doing a video on it actually hopefully this week. I can make some time for it. We actually have been using Payability since last Q4, and I have become a huge fan of it because it does allow daily cash flow. So with Amazon, if you have an old account or a very new account, you can transfer your payments out daily, which is amazing. Those of us stuck in this awkward middle child phase with Amazon, we have to get paid out every 2 weeks. So if I get a paycheck from Amazon and I go out and I spend it all, I have to sit on my thumbs for freaking 2 weeks and wait for my next paycheck. It sucks. So when I got Payability and I actually got to tap into daily cash flow, even if it's, $50 to $100 a day or something like that, I can go out and source every single day. So that was a game changer for us. But with that being said, we do have an affiliate for it. If you want to support it, great, we thank you. But we did end up talking to these guys. And so if you use our affiliate, which you can find in the link below, or you can email me, chaz@sidehustlepros.com. That's CHAZ @sidehustlepros.com. we can actually get you guys hooked up with a $250 cash sign-on bonus is what they're offering for that for our audience. Martin, I haven't even gotten to hook up the new webcam yet. So quick shout out. I had no idea that there was the meetup that we were going to host was like a secret birthday party for me. I had no freaking idea until I showed up and I saw the sign. So first of all, shout out to my wife, which I wish she was here, but obviously she can't be right now. She masterminded this thing, and I can't put that into words how appreciative I am of her. Second shout out goes to everyone who showed up. Just thank you guys. We had like 40 people come, and it was absolutely amazing. Like anyone who knows me knows that I thrive when I'm in like my community, right? The community that we have built here. You guys are everything. Like I would drop our product-based business to be in this full-time if I could. It just meant the world to me. I can't put it into words, but thank you for everyone that did show up. So at the event, Trista did hook me up with a sweet birthday present, which was a 4K webcam. Unfortunately, with the whole crappy Wi-Fi situation right now, until I fix the Wi-Fi situation, I can't use the webcam at the moment. So you're actually on my phone right now, but it's a 4K webcam, so it should be pretty sweet. 1,400 square feet total. Yeah, it's about, we have 1,000 square feet down here, and there's about 4, maybe 500 up top. So it's about 14. Do the chickens have sharp talons? Oh, I love it. What do I do to organize my business? That's a really broad question because we run multiple businesses. And so, Dyson, if you want to be a little more specific on what you mean by organizing our business, then I'm happy to help. When you look for tech, do you just look up SN on eBay to see how much it goes for? Yeah, you're just looking at model numbers. That's it. That's why I love electronics. They're super easy to search the sold comps. All you have to do is just type in the model number, look at the sold comps, and then look at what your price is versus your margin. With electronics, depending on what type, you're dealing with heavier, bigger items sometimes. You're dealing with VCRs and boom boxes and all this crazy stuff. So you do have to have quite a large margin to work in the shipping costs. Some of these things I'm shipping out, they cost 20, 30 bucks. Some of the things I haven't sold yet, but will sell, and I'm gonna have to pay probably, I don't even know, $50, $60, $70 on some of these really heavy items. So you gotta always keep that in mind when you're buying this stuff. Like, don't buy a VCR for 20 and sell it for 50. It seems like mentally you're like, oh great, I can make 30 bucks. But then when you run the math and you ship that thing out and you have to mummy box and all this extra stuff, it might cost you 20 bucks to ship it. And then great. Then you take out your fees, right? So you're not really making much. So you got to really know your stuff when you're doing that. We sell on both Amazon and eBay. How do I price my Ross shoes at average price sold or last price sold? I'm typically going for average. I'm looking at both, and this isn't just for Ross shoes. A lot of people watch that Ross video and think that's how we get our inventory. I don't source at Ross hardly ever. I go through spurts where I'll go more, but that's not our primary sourcing method at all. That's just something I do as a hobby for fun because I love shoes. So with shoes or any other items on eBay, I'm looking at an average of what are the sold comps going for versus what are the current listings at. Because if there's a history of sold comps at a certain price point, but then I see there's lots of active listings at a very low price point, it's gonna be hard for me to price really high and compete with that. So I'm kind of looking at a combo of both. That's why I love vintage electronics, because there's not a lot of sellers doing those. What is the eBay name? So the eBay store name for that account is going to be SHP for Side Hustle Pros. It's SHP Tech, TECH. And I have no problem sharing that account publicly if you guys want to go check it out. And you guys can see how simple I keep the thing. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm I'm using my iPhone 8 Plus. Like I'm not even using an iPhone X or anything like that. I'm just using iPhone 8 Plus to take my pictures. I adjust the contrast to make the white background a little bit brighter. I have 3 lights, so I have 2 soft boxes from the sides looking to the side, and then I have a ring light looking down. And that's my basic setup. And a lot of people have been asking lately, what do we use for equipment? So I did put together an Amazon affiliate page. So it's called an influencers page. So if you go to sidehustleprosgear.com, sidehustleprosgear.com, you can see a whole breakdown of the exact lights that we use, the same scanners that we use, every piece of equipment that we have. We try to keep it as basic as we can. What's up, Sarah? You did catch us live. What is up? Have I ever gotten into selling book lots on eBay? I have a chance to buy a tractor full of fiction. Couple things with that. One, I have not sold book lots on eBay before. I have sold just single books through Amazon. It's my primary outlet for books. I've sold a few one-offs on eBay before, instructor editions and all that stuff. But as far as buying a tractor full of fiction, as far as I know on Amazon side, I haven't looked into eBay side at all. Fiction is typically not going to be where your profit's going to be. But again, I could be wrong. I've never sold fiction on eBay, so I'm not 100%. That's just based on the Amazon side. If you can at all pre-scan a bunch of those books just to see if there's going to, or not scan, but check the comps, just to see if they're going to be worth your time and your money to go through. Books are a grind. They're very time consuming. They have to take extra condition notes, that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you go cherry pick a few of them and they're worth it and you can buy the whole thing really cheap, then I mean, if it's part of your business model, then rock it. Yeah, typically 50 and 20 bucks for VCR and DVD, as far as that goes. When you get into receivers, especially like some of the older Denons and the Yamahas, these things are like freaking 20, 30, 40 pounds. It's crazy. All right. When am I going to do another TA, tactical arbitrage video with Chris Grant? I'm actually going to be doing one hopefully soon. I need to connect with him. We have him coming in doing some VIP exclusive videos in our VIP group, which is going to be fun. And then I'll have him back on to do a follow-up video on YouTube. We do use tactical arbitrage for OA. We've been using it for 2 years. I'd say probably a solid 2 years, maybe a little bit over. Whoop, YouTube just bumped my chat down. Sorry if I do miss questions, guys. If I do miss questions, you can always repost those. I'm trying to keep up here. All right, I think we're back here. Yeah, if you did miss the little circle walk around, you can just watch the recording and catch that. I'm going to do an official video. We took vlog clips, like time lapse, overhead shots. That's what I love about having stairs up there, is as the videographer brain, I get some really cool camera angles and time lapses looking down now. So I did all kinds of clips for you guys. So we're going to do an official, once it's all clean and organized and I have a big workflow, we'll do an official like office workflow video to show you guys how we're doing it. How do you guard against picking up stuff like Lego, which I would not be able to sell via RA? Dale, I'm assuming you're referring to Amazon and being gated in Lego. Always check other platforms, even locally, right? You can sell that stuff on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp if you want to do local. Always check eBay. If you're ever restricted on an item on Amazon, don't put it back on the shelf. Check eBay sold listings. People are leaving money on the table every day because they scan with Amazon. They don't. I'm coming from a mindset of I used to hate eBay. So I would scan something. If I was restricted, I'd be like, well, crap, I can't do anything with that. Put it back on the shelf, scan the next thing. Then I started checking eBay and I realized, oh, I can make just as much profit on eBay as I can on Amazon, but Amazon I'm restricted. eBay is where I'm gonna sell it. Yes, you have to ship your own product on eBay. Yes, you have to make your own listings. Yes, you have to take your own photos. That's all stuff you can outsource. If you truly despise eBay that much, you can outsource it. But for the most part, it is really not that bad. It's a few extra minutes of work per item. But if you're getting your profit, you're getting your profit. This is the question of the century. How do you balance home life and being self-employed, sourcing and thrifting and all the craziness that we do? The magical secret to the work-life balance is I don't believe there is such thing as perfect work-life balance. It literally is a day-by-day, week-by-week scenario for us. We look at some weeks, I don't have a lot of big workloads to do. So I take a lot of time off. I come into the office for like 4 hours a day sometimes if I don't have a ton to do. And especially during summertime, I've been taking a lot of extra time off compared to wintertime because here in the Northwest, we only get sunshine for 4 months a year. So during the summertime, I'm taking my boy out to rivers, I'm taking him to the beach, I'm going to the zoo, I'm going out and having fun. So that's for me personally. I know some people don't believe in like taking a bunch of time off if you want to build a business, but you know what? It's your life. Do whatever the hell you want to do with it. So for me, I want to have fun and build a business at the same time, and I don't think there's no reason why you can't do that. So as long as you're working smart, outsource specific things that allow your business to keep running in the background when you're gone, you can build your business while traveling, you can build it while having fun and enjoying your life, and that's what I'm all about here. So how we balance it is I sit down every Sunday night or Monday morning, I look at my whole week, and I start to schedule things out. I look at what do I have as far as scheduled calls? What do I have for like YouTube Live? I do a lot of VIP call stuff. I have other client calls that I do. So I look at my scheduled appointments first. Then I look at where do I need to squeeze in. Well, let me reverse. That's actually number 2. I squeeze in my calls, my videos, all that kind of stuff is second. First and foremost is me. I need to get my me time in to be my best self, because if I'm not my best self, you guys don't get the best version of me. And if you don't get the best version of me, it's pointless to be here and do this stuff, right? Because I always want to be the best that I can so I can pay that forward to everybody else, right? My family, my friends, you guys as our audience, anyone who watches our content. I need to be not on my A game at all times. That's not what I'm about. I'm not on my A game tonight. I'm exhausted, but I'm still showing up because I have integrity to be here for you guys every Tuesday night. But for me, as far as the personal stuff goes, I need to go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. And that's not saying I'm going in and like lifting heavy weights every day. Like some days I just go in, I'll walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes. I'll do some yoga, some foam rolling, and then I'll hit the steam room and I'll call it a day. I just need to move my body actively in the gym every day for me to mentally just get my therapy in a weird sense. Some people get that, some people don't, that's fine. But for me, that's number 1, and I usually do that first thing in the morning before I do anything. Personal development or personal growth reading, opening up a physical book, reading. If not a book, then I'm watching a video or listening to a podcast. Usually while I'm at the gym, I'll listen to motivational stuff too. And that's like my first thing that has to be on the schedule. I will sacrifice a lot of things to get that done first, because the days I don't put myself first, I'm pouring from an empty cup all day. And it's just, I have crappy energy, I feel like shit, and it's no good for anyone. So I want to feel my best so I can give my best. That's like my life motto. So with that being said, from there I schedule out my stuff that is scheduled. So it's our Tuesday night live here on YouTube. Wednesday nights we're live with our VIP group, and I have a bunch of video stuff I do on the side. I have my phone calls I do with my clients, all that fun stuff. Then I look at number 3, which is my big projects. So something like my 100 to 10K electronics account, that's a big project right now. It's a big focus of mine because I really want to grow that quick. So that's a daily thing I'm chipping at. Some days obviously this week in particular, like I mentioned to you guys, we moved the office, we shipped out a bunch of shoes. I haven't had time to put into that account. So that has been a slow growing week for us on that account. But on my usual schedule, I'm chipping away at it. I've got a guy that I hired that comes in once a week and helps me clean and test. I'm taking photos. The photos are on my phone so that when I'm at home, I can chip away and do a few listings every night. And that's how I like to do that account. It's been great. From there, I just look at the little stuff that needs to be filler stuff. So I look at my big projects and then my fillers. And the fillers are just going to be little things. Like if I told somebody, hey, yeah, I'll get that done for you by Friday, then I'm plugging that in there in my schedule where it fits. Now, when you look at, that's all the business stuff. When you look at the work-life balance, now we're going to get into how do I balance out having a 3-year-old, a wife, trying to maintain friends, right? Trying to have an active like social life. That is just a daily thing. I have to be very, very aware of, I have to be self-aware of my time and my mood, because when I get in these phases where my mood is like, I get tunnel vision when I'm working on something and I'm in the grind. Like I get tunnel vision. I will work until midnight and not even realize it sometimes. So I've had to learn to become very self-aware of that and realize if it's 7 or 8 o'clock and I'm still at the office, I need to stop and go home and see my boy. That's something I've been very, very self-aware of in the last several months, because I spent a long time, too long in my opinion, I spent too long sacrificing nights to be not in this space, but whether it was in our garage in the beginning, whether it was at our old office space or now here, I sacrificed way too much family time. Especially having a 3-year-old, like those first 5 years of a child's life are so crucial for growth. And I'm a big believer that being there, not just, being physically there, but like mentally be present, wake up and be present with who you're with. That became a big thing for me in the last few months. So I've been very self-aware at the time I'm giving my wife, the time I'm giving my 3-year-old, the time I'm giving to my family, my loved ones, my siblings. I've been trying to, and I'm not perfect by any means. By any means, I'm not perfect. But I'm improving. I'm always trying to improve, and that's what counts, in my opinion. So it's been a struggle to try to have like the perfect work-life balance, and I gave up of the idea of even trying to have a perfect work-life balance. It comes down to knowing what things do you need to do to grow your business and what things do you need to do to grow your personal life. And you find the right balance that works for you between the two, and you're done. That's it. So that's my personal opinion on that. I know that was a huge mouthful. I knew that was a lot to take in for some people, but that's how I personally kind of go about it. So hypothetically speaking, if you sell something through FBA and that item is returned, is there a way to find out why it was returned? Thanks for the congrats on the new space, by the way. Is there a way to find out if it was returned through FBA? So yes, if you go, and usually they're generic responses, you're not going to get a detailed breakdown. Sometimes they'll give you a little bit of information, but for the most part, it's, customers return for whatever reason. But if you go into, there's a return section under your reports, and you can check that out. And it has to get back to the warehouse for you to get the more detailed stuff on it. Hold on, I just realized. All right, hold on. I got some super chats I got to shout out real quick. Nameless one, thank you for the super chat. Much, much appreciated. Myth or truth? Starting a new eBay account, don't post more than 10 auctions per day so you don't get flagged as a risk. I've never done auctions. Well, I've done a few auctions on our main eBay account, but on this, I've never done 10 auctions in a day, and I've never heard about that, so I'm not sure. And that's the thing, guys. With me, like, if I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know. I've never done it, so I really don't know. If anyone in the chat does know, that'd be a great topic. What I have learned, I'm going to do a video, because I've been around eBay, because Trista's done it for clothing for the most part for a couple of years now. So I've been around eBay, but I've never like created a new eBay account and gone through the new eBay account growth. And now that I'm doing it, I've learned a few little things that I'm going to do a video on and share, like my top 5 things I learned by growing a new eBay account type of video. I think will help people out. Oh, that's awesome. CL Jones says your old video about packing and FBA shipment is the first video I watched when I started FBA, and I realized I had no idea what I was doing. Just wanted to thank you for that. That's awesome. Thanks for supporting it and watching. Dan, that's awesome, man. Thanks for coming out. It's great to meet everybody. Yeah, meetups, guys. Like, if you have local meetups around you, like, go. Networking and meeting other resellers is the number one way you're ever going to grow your business. Aside from locking down like really good product accounts and all that fun stuff, like you have to have that stuff. But as far as networking and getting your little community going, it's amazing. Where's a good place to source virtual assistants? We use Upwork.com, UPWORK.com, Upwork.com. Do we use any software to manage our eBay sales? We do not. Yeah, eBay's tough. They're not API friendly, so they don't like third-party programs and softwares coming in and tapping into their information to create programs. Yeah, so there's not a ton of software stuff out there. There's a few, but we don't use any type of software. How's our wholesale business been going? Super slow. Couple reasons. One, I went deep on a product. I bought 1,000 units when I probably should not have gone that deep. Amazon came on the listing, so right now it's sitting at a break-even price. That's actually what some of this is right here. We sent in multi-packs as testers to see if a 3-pack, a 6-pack, or a 12-pack would sell best. And we're seeing which ones are starting to move. So we're actually, after we're done with this move and like getting organized, we're gonna sit down and hire out some help and get all this stuff shipped in. And so I'll be able to talk about the wholesale stuff more once I start to flip that first and then get going with it. But it's been really slow, and that's on us. I didn't do a deep enough research on the type of product that we got into. I didn't really think Amazon was going to hop on like multi-pack listings, especially as super odd sometimes for them to do. So what was going to be a $6 to $7 net profit turned into like $1. So right now I either have to wait for them to sell out, or we have to jump in, do some keyword injection with the listing and do some extra campaigns on that. But we'll make it work. And it's just definitely a lot slower than I thought it was going to be, which is fine. It's, I'd never expected it to be great out of the gate for us. We're new to wholesale. We're still figuring it out. We're learning how to open up new accounts, work with vendors, negotiate discounts, all that fun stuff that goes with it. But that's kind of where we're at. And again, I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to sit up here and say like, oh, it's great. Like, no, it's slow. I'm learning, but it's all getting shipped in the next couple weeks, which will be nice. Richard in here stealing Andrea's idea, but $5 to put. Oh, Andre. I thought I said Andrea. Stealing Andre's idea, but put $5 towards a shot. Appreciate it, my friend Richard. You are awesome. Please help. I have a question. I'm trying to put a brand Adidas of shoes on eBay, and it keeps flagging my post. What can I do for it to not erase my post? Give me a warning or penalty. I have never seen an Adidas flag pop up, so I'd be curious what you are seeing on that error. And if anyone has experience with that, please let us know. That's what I love about this community, by the way. Like, I have certain knowledge base about certain things, but there's a lot of stuff I have no idea about. And if I don't know, I'm able to ask you guys, and you guys between the collective, it's an insane knowledge base that we have here. So it's not just me sitting up here talking on a video. Like in the chat or even on the comments on the recording, there's so much knowledge in there too. Haha, there you go. Sean's a fellow PNW. Tyler said, I just listed cereal and I'm not ungated in food. Should I be worried? I would ask if you are I'm trying to see. If you listed through Inventory Lab does not show you the restrictions a lot of times, but if you listed through Amazon Seller Central, it would have came up as restricted. It may be in a different category than it should be. Some people will put food items under health and personal care, even beauty. I've seen it in weird stuff just to get around the gating situation. But if you're listing stuff that you know you're restricted in, I would not be playing that ball game. Just jump through the hoops. I'm trying to think. No, and grocery may not even be gated. Okay, yeah, Dan just said it here. Grocery is no longer gated. I thought that was a thing that came out a few months back. I kind of spaced about it. Grocery's always been gated, so I just, for some reason, kind of spaced that. Whoops. Ah, there you go. Martin and the Long Project. Looking at keywords, are you using anything that's on the Vero list? Those are keywords you're not allowed to use on eBay, such as Velcro. What is better for shipping 6 pounds, a 6 pound electronic, postal, retail, or FedEx? Your best bet on heavier items, especially if they're going distance, is going to be FedEx Smart Post, is what I found, and that's just based on me here in Oregon that I found. It might be different for other states. I found that heavy items that are going distance, crossing borders type of thing, are going to be FedEx Smart Post. For some reason, I've been playing around with home delivery lately, or FedEx Ground, and that's actually been cheaper if it's only going 1 or 2 states over. That's been fairly cheap. I just shipped out an item today. It wasn't that heavy. It was about 4 pounds, but FedEx Ground was cheaper than anything else. It turned out to be $14, and it was going to be 20 plus on the other ones. And that's I think that just comes down to trial and error. You gotta play around with the different ones and learn based on how far it's going versus how much it weighs and the dimensions. Yeah, Brian nailed it. Grocery as a category may not be gated, but every major brand in grocery is still gated. So that's like a different thing. So you can, well, the past was you had to have an invoice from a grocery distributor to get approved for grocery. And then it turned into, okay, grocery is no longer gated, so you can sell groceries, but then you have to get brand ungated. And that's why Amazon is kind of switching around how they're doing their categories. They're more so on the brand ungatings now. And all you do is type in that brand distributor in Google, and you can find distributors for that stuff to get ungated. Have you heard you have to pay to get ungated with Hasbro? I have heard that. I have not seen it myself. I have an older account, so I've been auto-approved in a lot of different things, but I've heard other people mention that. Again, heard, I don't know if it's 100% true. I only heard it through the grapevine. Oh, Martin, congrats. First time it's happened, $175 sell price on the item, so kind of a big deal. Oh wait, hold up. I skipped too far ahead. Let me scroll back up to the original statement. Here's a question. I sent an item into FBA and it was damaged by Amazon, so no congrats on that. I take it back. Listed as unfulfillable, do I create a removal order? What happens if I do? So create a removal order, take photos of how it arrives back to you, because if you sent that in as new condition, or if it comes back in a damaged condition versus when you sent it in, you can fight that with Amazon. I'm not saying it's 100% you can get a refund, but there's been several times I have fought Amazon on stuff like that. Take photos and show the damage, show it's not working, whatever it is, depends on the type of item. And you can fight Amazon and hopefully get reimbursed on that. How do you get ungated to sell DVDs on Amazon? Two things. One, DVDs of all categories is going to be the most difficult to get ungated in. Number two, if you do get ungated, DVDs was hard restricted like that to begin with because they had a very high counterfeit rate. And so I personally would not sell DVDs on Amazon just because there's a higher risk of return with counterfeit claim. And again, it's all based on risk tolerance. So if that's something you want to pursue, you can. There are distributors. I've heard of people getting ungated. There's distributors out there that can work. I don't know which ones they are. But even if I did, I personally wouldn't play in that ball game. Yeah, like Nameless One said here, if Amazon damaged it or the customer damaged it, you should be able to get reimbursed. So I would definitely fight that. A video tutorial unpacking VCRs and electronics. Brian, thanks for bringing that up. Said he has one on Instagram. Don't think it's on YouTube. Yeah, if you go to the Instagram account, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember if I posted it on both. It's either on Side Hustle Pros or 100 to 10K Challenge. And I did post just a quick clip showing how I wrap my VCRs and package those. Super easy, guys. It is going to be bubble wrap, stretch wrap, and then find a right size box. Sometimes you have to cut and do a Franken box on it, and then put some craft paper in there or construction or constructor's paper. Everyone calls it something different. Super easy to do. Oh my gosh, Sean said it's 108 degrees in Vegas right now at 8 p.m. That's insane. Like, I can never complain about our 95 here again. That's insane. My clothing sales on eBay basically went to nothing. Any tips? Unfortunately, I don't sell clothing, so I don't have any tips. My wife does sell clothing. Trista, she's usually here on Tuesday nights. I would follow back up next Tuesday night. Make sure you can get here live again, and she'll be here and she can help answer some questions with that too. So Martin said, just tried to do a removal order. Amazon said the item was damaged in the fulfillment center. Amazon takes responsibility for this damage. No further action is required. So this means you hopefully will be getting an automatic reimbursement in 45 days. That's like 45 days is what they usually do their automatic reimbursements on. So mark your calendar, set an alert 45 days from now. And if they haven't given you a reimbursement, then you take that little like email, give it back to them, open up a case, give them the item number, SKU, all that good stuff, and open up a case because they damaged it, which means you're going to get reimbursed either way. Hey, there you go. Did my first FBM purchase today, bought my first VCR for eBay. Congrats. Yeah, Jake said clothes are very slow on eBay right now. I don't do clothes, but I can tell you I know that clothing does slow down during the summertime. But fall is coming, and the natural swing of Q4 is going to start kicking in. So clothing, all the other categories, everything does start to pick up. Weird eBay experience happened tonight. Last week, I converted some old inventory from good to cancel to auction 7-day. $5 no reserved. All the items ended at the same price I've been trying to get for the last 3 months. Yeah, eBay's a different ball game sometimes. Yeah, 45 days. That's the name of the game. And 45 days is their maximum. Thanks, Richard, for mentioning that. Yeah, 45 days is going to be the maximum time. Sometimes they do get it to you quicker, but if it's been 46 days and you do not see that reimbursement, I would open up a case and message them. Gretchen sold 2 snow pants this week. Weird stuff. Trista sold last year and this year. She sold wool sweaters in August. I think July. Last year was August. This year was July. Wool sweaters. Like, people buy it. I mean, it's going to be winter time soon somewhere. When and how to best be prepared for Q4. At the end of the day, I mean, there's like tactics and specifics you can do with like ramping up your PPC campaigns and all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's get more inventory, start sending it in like August, September, like be ready. And then also look at seasonal items. Toys are obviously going to be a really big one during Q4, but any category sells faster in Q4, but toys specifically. Start to pay attention to which toys are going to be the hot toys this year towards the end of the summer. Those are the ones you start to keep an eye out for. But really, Q4, it's if you're doing something that works already, you're just going to do your best to get more of it for Q4 because Q4 is awesome. So definitely load up as much as you can. I bought an old Sony digital camera from a yard sale for $2. Still works. Fast seller maybe. Absolutely. People, I've got boxes, literally boxes over there in my electronics pile of camcorders and old cameras. People buy that stuff all the time. It's crazy. And that's the crazy part. You can buy these camcorders and cameras. Even at Goodwill, I'm only paying like 10 or 15 bucks for a camcorder that sells for 60, 70, $80 on eBay. It sells for even more on Amazon. It's crazy what people spend. How often do I reprice my eBay listings? I reprice them every Sunday. I should say I review them every Sunday. And I make price adjustments as I feel fit. Usually I've been on, with my electronics account, I've been pricing just a tad bit higher than average. And if it doesn't sell in the first 2 weeks, I'm dropping it just by a few dollars. And then I'll look at it the next week, drop it by a few dollars if I need to. Some items, whether they're vintage and really hard to find, more of the rare stuff, the collector's items, I'm pricing and I'm leaving them. I'm not gonna settle for a super low price on some of that stuff. I'm just gonna hold out. Like I've got this vintage boombox. I forgot what brand it is. I've got this vintage boombox I got for $40 and it's worth about $350. So that type of stuff, like I'm pricing it and letting it sit. Even though I paid $40, and if I did drop it down to like $250, and I would still make a quick flip, $200. After fees and shipping, probably be like $150, $160-ish, somewhere in there. But that. Yeah, and that's kind of how I do my pricing. The harder it is to find the item, the more I'm just going to hold on to my price. But yeah, typically Sunday nights is like review night, so I sit down and look at a lot of our stuff. You ever sell expensive shoes on eBay, vintage Jordans or Nike shoes, and not get ripped off by buyers? I've not typically ever sold super expensive or high-end shoes on eBay. I've sold a lot of like $60 to $80 range shoes, but nothing super expensive. I did sell a pair of Jordans on Amazon early in the day, like 2 years ago, for I want to say it was $270. I forgot what they were. It was a Jordan I got for $90. I sold for $270. That was probably the highest flip I did. As far as getting ripped off by buyers, we've had a few on Amazon that have tried to pull one over us, but as far as eBay goes so far, I really haven't had many issues. We haven't had anyone swap products out. I'm sure we've had people that try to do returns and get refunds and all that stuff, just try to get money back, and that's, whatever, it's part of the business. But we haven't had a lot of issues. Do used books sell good during Q4? Absolutely. Anything sells good during Q4. How hard is it to get ungated to sell Nike sneakers on Amazon from 1 to 10? I'm going to say probably a 9. Nike, so to get ungated in any brand on Amazon, Amazon is asking for an invoice from a distributor. Let's separate, let's get cleared. Let's create a separation here. Invoice means it's from a distributor, somebody who is giving you a wholesale price, and it's an actual wholesaler, not a retail store. Because a lot of people are like, hey, I can use a Walmart receipt or a Target receipt. That's a receipt. An invoice is going to come from a distributor or the manufacturer. So to find a distributor for Nike is very difficult, And Nike directly is going to send somebody out to inspect your brick and mortar store if you say you have one. A brick and mortar is how you can get really good accounts. Hint, hint. That's going to be a big bonus of having that little retail spot right there. Having a brick and mortar is a great way to open up wholesale accounts. That's going to give you an advantage versus just people that sell online. But a Nike distributor is going to be pretty difficult. Now, with that being said, I've seen a few people hit request approval and they get auto approved. If you have an older account with great metrics, that stuff happens all the time. So it's worth trying. But again, make sure you have invoices from distributors to get ungated in pretty much most brands that you want to. That's a great question. Regarding repricing eBay, do you research your item? Yes, I do. I'm looking up what the current comps are going for that week. If I see a bunch of new listings hopped on and the price came down, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let those guys sell out, and then I'm gonna wait for the price to recover where I want that price. But yeah, I am looking up or researching each week. What is the best FBA pricer in the market right now? Currently, the same one we've been using for, I don't even know how long, 6, 7, 8 months since last Q4. So, geez, it's already August. That's crazy. For 8 months, we've been using App Eagle. Well, now it's informed.co is their name change. I still don't know why they did a name change. I love the name App Eagle. I love that name. But informed.co is who we use for that. How soon after you have gotten comfortable with the category do you start to look into starting another? For instance, feel like I've mastered the 2 I sell in now and I want to expand, but should I? If you feel that you've mastered a category, you can absolutely branch into other ones. And that is the way I personally do it. I don't like to spread myself so thin that I only have a tiny bit of knowledge in everything. I like to go a little bit deeper on one type of category. Like right now I'm focused on electronics. That's kind of all I want to sell right now. So I'm learning and even within categories, there's so many subcategories. There's sub niches that you can get into. So when I look at electronics, for example, I have electronics as the category, right? I have a very broad knowledge base of a lot of different electronics, but I'm trying to go deeper with vintage, boom boxes, radios, that kind of stuff. So I'm learning how to repair vintage stuff. I'm learning how to work with the little circuit boards in there, fun stuff. I don't know. I'm having a blast with it. So I'm learning how to repair and rebuild some stuff, which is a lot of fun for me. And again, I'm finding something I'm kind of passionate about anyways. So that's something I'm learning a lot about. Once I feel really comfortable and I can flip that stuff all day long, no problem, then I'll look into maybe I want to get into iPhones and iPads specifically. So then I learn the iPhone and iPad game. So then I jump from set to set, but I'm not going to jump from set to set until I know I've mastered or become somewhat of an expert in different categories. That's just the way I personally do it. Some people don't believe that method. Some people love to just go super wide and very, very superficial layer on their knowledge, and that's how they do it, and they do great. Again, just like I said at the beginning, you got to take all of this advice from all of us YouTubers, all of us people on Instagram. You got to take this advice, take it for what it's worth, but create your own method out of it. You don't have to follow a specific strategy that one person uses. Take what you can, mold it into your own, and start doing it that way. But yeah, if you feel you've mastered 2 categories, heck, get into the next one, right? The more knowledge base you have, the more opportunities that are going to be there. It's like walking into a garage sale. Ashley from Hustle at Home Mom mentioned this on her stories mode. I think it was this morning or yesterday when I saw it. And I loved it. She said that when she first started, and it's the same for me too, when we first start this ball game of going into thrift stores or garage sales for eBay, you walk in and you might only know electronics. So all you do is you look at everything and you're like, meh, I don't really see much. But then you go to electronics, you get some electronics, you sell that. Then the next year you come back and you might have learned shoes. So then you go to your electronics, you pick out your good electronics, and then you go to shoes, and you're like, oh, hey, I know what these are, I know what these are. You pick out some shoes. Then you go back again. Maybe this is year by year growth. And then the third year, you go back, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I know jewelry now. So you go to your electronics, you pick out your stuff, you go to your shoes, pick out your stuff, and then you go to jewelry. So year by year, you get more knowledge, you get more experience, and you can go in and cherry pick a bunch of stuff from different categories. So that's why I can walk into a garage sale right now, and I'm not just looking for electronics anymore. I can walk in, I can look at different things and get an eye for what I'm doing. But it took me 2.5 years of doing different things to figure out what I like and what I'm decent at. And now I'm taking what I'm decent at and I'm trying to go deeper and become an expert with it. And again, this is just all my personal thoughts. This is just my brain unloading at the end of a long week. Shout out to the 126 people still watching, by the way. We are over an hour, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evening to be here with me. The time that you guys commit to watching the videos is hands down the biggest compliment you can ever give us, because your time is your biggest asset, and you guys take your time to be here, and I can't tell you how much it means. So thank you guys. Because I can sit here and ramble all night. I don't know if anyone would stay, but I can sit here and ramble about this stuff all night because I love it. This ball game of reselling on a full-time basis is freaking crazy. Like, Tristan and I will sit here in the office and just look around and be like, I never would have thought this would be like a thing. I used to be a full-time massage therapist at a big fancy spa. Trista used to work in the medical field. Like, before that, we both met working full-time at Quiznos. It's just weird when you look at the domino effect of your life and you start to just stop and go, this is reality right now. All of this chaos, it's reality, and I freaking love it. So if you guys don't love what you're doing, it's going to be miserable. Okay? I hope you get that. Like, don't try to get into full-time reselling if you hate it. Like, you've got to be a treasure hunter. You've got to love the hunt to do this thing full-time. Because I'm telling you right now, you can flip stuff as a side hustle, so you're always doing it as a hobby, and you can have a little fun with it, make some extra income. But when you switch to full-time, you have to have this deeply rooted treasure hunter mentality to continue to love it full-time. Because it's hard. Really effing hard. It's exhausting, but if you love it, and this goes for anything, if you love it, you're going to continue doing it. So it's I get anxiety looking at how much product we've got in here right now, but at the same time, I'm like, I couldn't go back to a regular job. Now that I've built, not me, it's been both of us, my wife too, but now that we've built somewhat of a foundation for ourselves, we're not ranking in tons of cash. We're not living this luxurious lifestyle. We still drive, fairly cheap cars. We don't have the big fancy house. We live very simply, but I couldn't trade it in. I have my time freedom. That's all I care about, right? I can have debt the rest of my life and I'd be totally fine with it as long as I have my time freedom. That's all I care about. I just want to control my time. I want to be able to take time off on a Tuesday to go to the beach with my family. I want to take the weekends off and not even worry about it. I just want my time. That's what it comes down to for me. I run a restaurant that does $5 million in sales annually, and it's killing me. I've been in eBay and FBA for a year. How much easier does it get to be? I want to make sure I'm reading this right. How much easier does it get to be profitable and scale going full-time self-employed? CL Jones, I would ask, when you say you run a restaurant, are you a manager at the restaurant or do you own the restaurant? I just want to get a little clarification on exactly what your position is in that, so I can help guide you just a little bit on it. I've never been in the restaurant industry. I worked at Quiznos. That was my first job. I worked at Quiznos for 3 years. That's as close to restaurant industry as I got. I didn't need to get deeper into it after that to realize it was tough. When you're dealing with just dealing with customers and food on one aspect, that's like the superficial layer. But I can't even imagine running an operation like that. That's huge. Mario says eBay marked an item has no tracking number, upload on local pickup. How do I fix that? Can you elaborate? I've never actually done a local pickup sale on eBay, so I personally do not know the answer to that. But if anyone has done local pickup, as far as eBay goes and the whole tracking number situation, I'm actually curious on that too. I've never listed anything in local pickup before. I'd be curious at how that works out with the tracking. What is a good cheap box source? You can go behind stores and get them for free if you want to. If you want to pay up a little bit, but it's convenient, you can go to Lowe's and Home Depot. U-Haul all have cheap-ish boxes. And then if you want to get your biggest savings, uline.com. It's just the letter U, uline.com. If you're buying in bigger quantity, you can get some good discounts there. And they're really fast on their shipping too. We have not done an office tour yet because it's chaos. If you want rewatch this live stream, I did a quick little walkthrough, but it's madness in here. Once we have a workflow and organized, it's gonna look way better. I'll do an official video for you guys. All right, I'm scrolling back up, make sure to not miss some of your questions. The VIPs are laying it down tonight. Love it. Pablo, thanks for staying up, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so CL Jones, managing partner, don't own, but operate 50, 60 hours a week, 150 employees. That is crazy. I'm curious, is this a restaurant chain? Is it one location? I'm always curious when it comes to other people's businesses. I've never ran anything like that, so I'm always curious. Just the behind the scenes of it. I can't even imagine. I can't put myself in that. Yeah, 50 to 60 hours a week, 150 employees. Let me go back up to your original question now that I have some context for it. Original question was, I run a restaurant that does, it sounds like it's just one location then. I run a restaurant that does 5 million in sales annually, and it's killing me. I've been doing eBay, FBA for a year. How much easier does it get to be profitable and scale full-time self-employed? Here's my take on that. Let me scroll down and make sure. All right, so it's a chain. I just wanted some context with that. Here's my take on that. It's almost the same thing that Gary Vee has said many times, right? He said that he knows people that have 40 million in the bank and they're miserable because they don't like what they do. And then he knows people that make 40K a year. $40,000 a year is what they live on for their whole family. They take vacations. 2 vacations a year. They don't have to be big and luxurious to do a vacation. And then you look for those types of people, to drive an average car, live in an average house, but they're happy. They have a huge balance in their life between work and just freedom of doing whatever they want. So if you run a restaurant that does 5 million a year, but you're miserable, it's not worth it, is it? And I'm not telling you what you should do at all. I'm just asking, is it worth it to be in a position where, money's money. At the end of the day, money's going to come and money's going to go. It's always going to be that way. You might as well make money doing something you enjoy. So if you're getting into Amazon, FBA, and eBay, and you're asking, does it get easier with time? In the sense that as you become more experienced, it does get easier, but the workload is going to be there until you learn how to outsource with specific tasks. There's certain things you can do to outsource that does make things a lot easier. I've outsourced a lot of stuff in our business that has been a lifesaver for me. So it does get easier in the sense of becoming self-employed. It's more of a mental battle than anything, and that's the part that I like to talk about that no one else really enjoys talking about, because it's not easy to talk about that stuff. But it's when you're self-employed, it's 100% a mental game, and this is just based on me. I don't know if that's truth for a lot of people. That's just based on me. But for me, the hardest part about being self-employed is not the business stuff. It's not the sourcing. It's not the listing. It's not the grind. It's the mental part of it, right? It's a lonely ball game. That's why I enjoyed putting out content. I enjoy being around community. I enjoy being with other resellers. I enjoy communicating here with you guys. Like I can sit here for hours and talk with you guys. It's not even like a thing. Because for me, it's the mental part. So I would try to look at it from a little bit different perspective and not ask yourself, does it get easier? Just ask yourself, like, is it going to be more enjoyable and sustainable for you? Because if the answer is yes, then yeah, pursue it. Build your eBay and Amazon business on the side until you hit that transition point where you can cut down your hours at that job and then transition into more of your full-time self, being full-time self-employed. And it's not for everybody at all. I know many people that went self-employed and they went back to a job because they realized real fast it's a different ballgame when you're full-time for yourself. Building a side hustle, and this is a big thing I never understood until I did it. And if you're full-time, comment below. Let me know if you feel the same way. When you build a side hustle and you transition and then you quit a job and you go into full-time self-employed, totally different ball games. You got a whole new set of things to think about. You got a whole new set of ambition for yourself versus just a side hustle, a hobby, right? That's just like this fun little cushion that you're building for yourself. But when you go full-time, it's a totally different ballgame. And that's just based on my personal experience. I love that we have somebody that's been down that same road. April said we sold our restaurant lounge 2 years ago and it was the best thing I ever did. Yeah, that's a lot of workload. That's a lot of workload running a $5 million business on a restaurant. Yeah, I love that. Dan said side hustle is work, but it's also freedom. That's true. What's the quote? I would rather work 80 hours a week for myself than 40 hours a week for the man. And I agree with that 100%. All right, we are well over our hour, guys, and I cannot believe that you guys have stuck here the whole time. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Seriously, I will be back on here doing some more Q&A for you guys soon. I just want to come up here. I know we haven't posted content on the channel in like over a week, but I at least want to get on here, do a quick Q&A session with you guys. So if you have any last minute quick rapid fire questions, I'm going to hammer through a few of them here. Okay, so yeah, I just want to get some clarification on that. Just wondering how much easier those things get when you focus all your time on it. It does get easier. And I use the term easier loosely because I know the word easy is going to be relative. It's different for each person. But it will get easier as you're able to put 100% of your attention on it. Haha, we got wifey in the chat. She came in with a knowledge bomb right here. Your income, make sure you can support your family no matter what. Going full-time is always a leap of faith, 100%. Because when you go full-time in any business for yourself, there's no stability. Like you can build a massive business, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that can happen that can take that rug right out from under you. And it can be a very scary ball game. It's a very risky ball game, and yeah, so you've got to have your income in place, have some savings put back, all that smart stuff you should do. Just do it. Richard, my friend, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. $10 super chat to go another hour. I appreciate it, my friend. I've got to go help somebody out for a little bit, and then I'm going to go catch my little boy and my wife before they go to bed, spend some time with them, and get back at it tomorrow. Tomorrow's like our first normal day back on our own schedule. We've been doing a lot of things for other people the last couple of weeks, which is why we've been MIA from like Facebook and a lot of stuff. But tomorrow's the first day we just kind of get back on track with our own stuff. Those things get easier, being sourcing and scaling, not necessarily the work gets easier. Yes, that is a great way to put it. The sourcing and the scaling will get easier. The work that goes into it never gets easy, of course. But yeah, the learning to source and the scaling, once you have a system down, it's just putting more capital, maybe a little bit more time, or outsourcing the time. But more capital is a huge part of it in this buying and selling game. Putting more capital into it, and the sourcing does get easier because you just get more experience with it. All right, sweet. So sorry if I missed your questions, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Scroll down. We're good. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. If you enjoy the content, as always, if you want to help out the channel, smash the thumbs up button. If you constantly miss the lives, I've had some emails lately where people are saying they're missing the lives. Click the little bell to get notified. It's next to the subscribe button, I believe. Click the little bell and it will notify you every time we post a video or we go live. So thank you all. We appreciate you guys. We'll get wifey on board here for next week. And aside from that, if you need to reach out to me for anything, I'm happy to work with people and answer questions through email. So chaz@sidehustlepros.com. If you want to check out any of the gear that we use, sidehustleprosgear.com is where you can check out all the equipment that we use. That is an affiliate link, so we do get a kickback on it if you do want to support us. We appreciate it. But aside from that, you guys have an amazing night. We'll catch you next time.